Is it time to quit RV life? I've been asking myself for a couple years, when is it going to be time to quit RV life? When should I quit? This year, all the traveling is really a lot tiring than I remember it being. Trying to travel, trying to, keep Sadie happy and healthy and exercise, and trying to keep up with work and writing. It's been more challenging this year than I remember going to Alaska or anything else. And, I'm tired of trying to find a new camp every day or every 2 days. And I'm like, it used to be fun, the adventure of going out on forest roads and trying to find new camps, and it's just not fun anymore. So is it time for me to quit? I'm going to share with you in real time my thoughts on this. It's Friday. I think I'll put this video up today. Let's sit down though.
There ain't nobody gonna do it for you. You got to find your own.
Hey friendlies, I'm Carolyn. This is my life for the last 5.5 years, sharing my experiences, my ups and downs, the good, the bad, the ugly of my life on the road, living in an RV. And a lot of times when I face a challenge, and I've always said since the beginning, I'm kind of like a cautionary tale. I jump in head first many times, and I get myself in precarious situations. And I've said from my day one, I wanted to share my journey in totality so that you can see the reality of my life, which is what I've done. But it's interesting that whenever I share a challenge that never fails, people tell me it's time to get off the road. You don't seem happy. Never mind that I make 500 videos. I've made 500 videos, and I don't know, maybe 10% of those are of the challenges, and the rest are just, the everyday life of it. Never mind that 90% of my videos are about the adventure and everything, all the good part of it. It's just funny whenever anybody sees a challenge, they're like, you're unhappy, you're miserable. I think partly is because that drama is what, drama's lack of a better word, but it is, the bad times are drama, and those videos tend to get more views. So people don't watch the good times, they only watch the bad times. But, it is interesting that people see a hard time and they're like, oh, you're miserable, you need to get off the road. And I've always bucked against that. I'm like, no, I had a bad day. You never have a bad day. No matter where I live, what I live in, what my lifestyle, there are going to be bad days. So even with the bad days, and even with the tiring traveling and everything that I'm doing, how do you know when it's time to quit? And I think that's what I want to talk to you about today. Kind of the first real kind of heart to heart, off the cuff talk I've done in a long time. I'm feeling a little vulnerable. It's been an interesting trip, especially the last week. And so there's, maybe that's part of the reason I'm kind of feeling like I want to share something real with you. When is it time to get off the road? When is it time to quit? I've been asking myself this for probably a couple years. I've been trying to figure out what is my next step. What's next for me? What do I want to do? Do I want to settle down in a cute little town, and get to know people and get involved? And, knowing me, I'd end up getting involved in fundraising of nonprofits or community. Many of you have suggested I run for politics. That was a dream I had in college. So who knows? So that's an option. The other option is, like I talk about the most, is to go off grid, buy a piece of property, do my own version of homesteading, vegan homesteading, whatever that looks like. And so that's been an option. And do I want to go back to San Francisco, live in San Francisco Bay Area? I have tossed around many options for a couple of years now, trying to just decide what's next for me. And this year has been challenging because, like I said, it's just the excitement of driving down crazy roads, knowing everything that can happen, flat tires and breakdowns and all that. The excitement of that, I'm going to be honest, is kind of gone. And, I've been doing it for 5.5 years. Of course, it's not going to stay fun and exciting forever. But how do I deal with that? Does that mean it's over for me? Does that mean it's time for me to just quit and give up? And many of you might be asking yourselves whether you're thinking about living in an RV and you're wondering, well, how long would I be able to do it? How long people ask me all the time, how long are you going to do it? Are you going to do it forever? What if? But not only RV life, a lot of you might be asking, when is the right time for me to fill in the blank? When's the right time for me to pull the, I don't know if I can say that without getting demonetized, pull pull that and say, okay, it's time for me to move forward, to do something else, or is it right for me to stay? One thing I firmly, wholeheartedly, 1000% believe is that when the time is right, you'll know. That you can think about it, you can question, you can ask, you can dream, you can fantasize, you can say, what if? You can toss around all the possibilities. But in my experience, every change I've ever made in my life, I've tossed it around, I've thought about it, I've contemplated, I've looked at all the different options. But the day it was time to make the change, I knew it. I woke up and I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I need to move forward. I need to do something else. So that's kind of what I've been doing especially the last probably year and a half, that I've been kind of passively thinking about buying property. And I say passively because I'm just like, I'm not ready. I don't feel like I'm ready to get off the road. I don't feel like I'm ready to quit. I can't, and this is why, because I can't think of anything else I would rather do at this point. Does that make sense? While this seems to be getting more challenging and maybe not as fun and as exciting and adventurous as it used to be, everything becomes rote after a while, right? Everything becomes routine. Even excitement and adventure becomes routine after a while. Been there, done that. Okay, been there, done that, But at this point, I can't think of anything else I would rather be doing. I really can't. I've gone through all the options. And while this may not be what it used to be, that doesn't mean I'm ready to quit. That just means that maybe this next phase, however long that's going to last, might look different. Maybe that means my big travels like this are over. And that's kind of what I'm leaning toward right now. I wanted to see the whole country. I wanted to go to every state. I've got one state left, Delaware. And so I'm going to hit that on the way back. And maybe that means for the next year, I just go to some of my favorite places. And that's kind of what I always envisioned. It's like, okay, let's visit every state, find the best places that you like in each state, so that from now on, I can say, okay, you know what? I loved Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Wait for those videos. Fell in love. You think I love Minnesota? Wait till you see the UP. But that's kind of what I always thought. I'll go around the country, find my favorite spots. So, I don't know, it's a 2-day drive, a day and a half drive. I can't remember from Nevada up to the UP. I could do that in one day instead of taking 3 months like I have done to really see things. And I can go and spend the fall in the UP if I want, or I can spend the summer in Colorado again if I want, because I know the good spots now. So I think for me anyway, I know when it's time to make a change, when I know. When my gut and everything in me says, okay, I just can't do this another day. It's time for me to make a change. And I'm not there yet. I'm just not there yet. It is not time for me to quit yet. I know a lot of people are getting off the road. Burnout is real. And I think that's where I'm at. I have nomad friends who been on the road a while, as long as I have or longer, and they're always amazed at how much I travel. I travel a lot, especially I think for someone my age and alone. It's a lot of work. It's a lot to deal with. Yeah, when you get a flat tire, people are like, it's just a flat tire. Yeah, okay. Try being alone in the middle of nowhere, 50 miles from the closest real town. Yeah, and not being that experienced changing a tire on an RV, and maybe not having all the right equipment because you live in an RV, so you can't have all the biggest and best. You have limited space. I can't carry an entire garage in my RV. And so, yeah, I went on a sidetrack there about, things going on. So the point I was trying to make there before I kind of went off a little bit on a tangent was that burnout is real. I've been traveling a lot, and maybe rather than just completely throw the baby out with the bathwater, maybe it's time to just change the bathwater. Makes sense, keep the baby, I don't know. And that just because maybe it's not as fun as it used to be, maybe that just means that it's going to be different. And maybe that's the same for you, something to think about in your life and whatever decisions you're trying to make, or you're kind of maybe beating yourself up a little bit about not knowing what the right thing to do. Maybe you're feeling stuck. So maybe this, sharing my experience with you, maybe this can kind of help you sort through that a little bit and say, I can't think of I can't really envision myself in my next phase yet. So maybe that means I have more work to do here. You know, maybe that means that right here just needs to change a little bit. Maybe I need to tweak that a little bit before, you know, I need to pave the way to my next step. Maybe I need to try everything I can here, do things a little bit differently, twist and turn and morph, and, you know, maybe try something new before getting to the next step and paving the way to the next step. That's what I think for me. I think, like I said, it's not quite time for me to get off the road because I don't know what else I want to do. There's nothing else I would rather do now. I love my RV. I love my little home. When I can find a perfect spot and stay for a while, that's the cream of the crop for me. That is the best life for me. And everything else that I'm doing right now is just kind of part of the process of my life and getting me to the next chapter of my life, whatever that's going to be. So is it time for me to quit RV life? Not yet. Not yet. And I honestly don't know when it will be, but I'll know. One day I will wake up and say, you know what? Enough is enough. I got to do something else. And I'll figure out what that next step is then, I guess. So I hope this little talk helped you kind of sort through your own challenges and thoughts about what you want to do in your life. If maybe you're feeling stuck or you don't know when it's time to go, maybe just by sharing my experience and my thoughts on my own process, I'm hoping that maybe it'll help you understand too. And for those of you who just feel like you need to understand me, I don't know if that helped at all. And I don't understand why, but anyway, I'm a mirror. I've always said I'm a mirror. Whatever you see in me, good, bad, or ugly, whatever you see in me is what's inside you. And I've always said that in a positive way. People write to me all the time and say, you challenge me, or you inspire me, you motivate me, and thanks to you, I have found my courage and my strength. And I've always said, that's just because, you know, I don't know if it's not projection, whatever it is, whatever you see in me is what's within you. And by watching me, I'm just helping you tap into that. You know, and the same goes for the ugliness. It's kind of interesting. You know, it took me a long time to realize that. I realized it for the positive, that if I motivate you, if I inspire you, it's just because you're seeing in me what's inside you and you're just able to tap into that. Same goes for the nastiness, right? Same goes for the people who look at me and see ugly and mean and greedy, and I'm a mirror. So food for thought, right? I'm watching too much Bo, so food for thought. Anyway, I hope that gives you something to think about and some food for thought. And stay tuned for the Sunday video. I need to go find a place to camp where I can just settle down and get to work on that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you all so much for being here, for being in my corner. Don't forget the meetup in New York at Pratt's Falls Park in Manlius from noon to 3 in New York on Monday. I'll see you there. All right. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. In the meantime, be happy. I'll see you next time. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. Thanks for listening. Bye.